Step right up, dummies, and listen to the stupidest sports show on earth with Rodney Newpol and Tim Van Stratton. Yeah. Well, hello, dummies, and welcome to episode number 87 of the stupidest sports show on earth. My name, as you all know, is Tim the Password Van Stratton. Alongside me is Rodney Newpol.
It's me.
We've returned from our trip to the loo, as the kids call it, and we're here for episode number 87. Rodney, how are you, my friend?
Doing well. We always talk weather, but unfortunately it cooled down a little bit today. Got a little bit cooler. It was pretty warm, really warm. We were quite toasty in St. Louis as well. And then I know those Saturday, Sunday games in St. Louis, they were quite warm, especially Sunday afternoon. But no, doing well and ready to rock episode 87. 16 days from NFL opener. So, like 4 days from college football. Let's go.
16 days? It's the NFL? That's it? That's it? So,
that's it.
In a couple, on Thursday, we're going to be 2 weeks away from Cowboys-Eagles. My nightmare matchup, but I'm going to be very, very excited to watch it. And, it's here. It's here. And that means officially 2 more weeks of caring about baseball until that ends.
Yeah, no, you were all over the baseball beat this weekend. Congratulations to your Yankees for the incredible 3-game sweep in St. Louis. The bats got going, and Cardinals kind of quit trying. But Cardinals have kind of righted the ship a little bit in Miami, won 2 in a row, and your Yankees continue to hit back to back tonight, and I think a 4th home run a little bit later. So the Bombers, the Bronx Bombers are back.
So in case you missed Friday's show, Rodney and I spent a good amount of time preparing our itinerary. The two of us for his birthday took a little trip down to the Lou to see my Yankees take on your Cardinals. It was a very fulfilling day. I think it was 98% great. The 1% reason that it wasn't was because of the heat. And the other 1% reason was because of all of the loud, whiny children during batting practice that were trying to get a baseball. And each of us, so we got there very early for batting practice on Friday. Each of us had a ball that was coming directly to our hands. It was balls that were intended for you and myself. And both times we were robbed of said baseballs.
Well, okay, we were robbed, but I wasn't as aggressive as I could have and should have been because I wasn't overly interested. The one was a rubber ball, and I didn't want that. It was on the warning track, and the other was thrown up. Like I want one that's hit. Like if I'm gonna get one, if one that's hit, I'm reaching for people. There was a few around us that were hit, and there was a lot of kids. Throw me the ball, but. No, it was good to see the batting practice. I was concerned there for a bit as they were not hitting right away, but they got their hits in, and it was good. And you forgot to mention going back to before the game. One of my favorite meals I've had in a long time at that restaurant across the street. Really good chicken tenders, mashed potatoes, green beans. You had the steak.
I had specifically a sliced prime rib sandwich. Thinly sliced prime rib. You thought I was just getting a whole ass prime rib. You were like, oh, money bags over here. And I was like, well, actually, it's a sandwich and it's cheaper than your little chicken tendies. So settle down.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I don't even remember the name of the restaurant, but it was part of Ballpark Village. It's in that vicinity. I don't know. Just ask around. The main host is, I'm pretty sure, Lil Nas X.
Yeah, no,
if that helps at all. Yeah. If that helps at all, if you're trying to figure out what restaurant we're talking about, because there's a few, just ask for a Lil Nas X and they'll know what you're talking about. Because that was him.
It was him. He was the head host, and then a few minutes later, we ran into Jackson Mahomes. And so, yeah, it was quite the trip. And we got our Chris Carpenter bobblehead, which I have yours, by the way. You can have it back if you'd like. Somehow,
I already said that you could have it. Give it to Joe. I know that he doesn't really know Chris Carpenter, have any memories of Chris Carpenter. But yeah, I mean, you want to take it out of the box, show the people. I didn't know if it was something where like he needed a little bit of Cardinals lore as you try to make him a historian of the game. I mean, that's a nice bobblehead. That's a good bobblehead. That's good quality. Yeah, 29.
Strong. Yeah. No, it's good. It's good.
I know we're going to do our Mount Rushmore of 87s. I'm trying to go back to our Mount Rushmore of 29s. Was Carp on there? Was he on the Mount Rushmore of 29s? I honestly can't remember.
Did we start that before? I think we might have started after 29.
No, I think we started in the 20s.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, we started in the 20s. I think.
I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at that one. It's been a long time, but I'm going to recap the trip again. Don't forget though, on the way down.
Oh,
the handy dandy Bet Us book got me. So like, I started this. You were driving. I was the passenger, and I started this, and I don't even know when we started it. But next thing I know, I look down, and we're like 15 miles from St. Louis, and I'm like, "Oh, that's one way to make the trip go quick."
Yeah. So it's funny because, yeah, I don't even remember the drive. I was driving the damn car. I don't remember the drive. I was so locked in on making these picks.
Yeah.
So Rodney, this was the problem. This was the confusion here. And I know we're getting a little inside baseball, but just to give you some context, because Rodney and I, we decided, hey, the best way that we're going to do NFL predictions, it's the stupidest sports show on earth, is we hear the game, we make a gut pick right then and there, win or loss. That's it. We don't need to get too bogged down in the weeds. The most research we did, and you can confirm this because it's all part of the process here, as you like to say, is if it's like, all right, kind of a fringe, it's like, all right, who did that team play the week before? Right?
Yeah.
Are they coming off a bye? Is there maybe a big opponent the next week and they might get caught sleeping this week? And also, shout out to our process last fall. Are they coming off a game against Man Campbell and the Detroit Lions? All of these were the main questions that we were asking. But the problem and the reason why we were only able to get through the AFC and not even touch the NFC yet is because the Bet Us book didn't have the weeks labeled. They just gave each team's schedule. So, and poor Rodney, I don't know how you were able to do it, but we would like go through and then we would get to a game that we had inadvertently picked 30 minutes before that, but we would forget like what we picked initially. So then you would have to go back and be like, okay, let's see. Yeah, week 6. Oh yeah, we had the Bengals winning this one. All right, good. Yeah. So then the Chargers and it was that for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then we were in St. Louis, and then that was that.
Yeah, and we've only got the AFC done.
Yeah. So we're halfway done. And now Rodney and I have to try to figure out time to do the other half, 16 NFC teams. Now, the good news is a lot of these NFC teams, like we have a handful of games for every NFC team already picked out. And I sent you a screenshot today. I put all of them like in the computer, the picks that I made to see. And I think like most of the NFC teams have like 4 or 5 games done, which is nice. That's about a little under a third of the schedule. So it probably won't take us as long for the NFC, assuming, but we got to figure out some time to do that because we got 2 weeks, as you said, before the season starts.
Yeah, no, and we got to recap this on one of our shows. I'm thinking maybe 2 weeks from tonight, maybe we recap our picks, talk about. So, I mean, I'm not even going to give any spoilers, but we do have the entire AFC record, the playoff seeds already for you. And then, as I said, maybe in the next 2 weeks, we'll finish the NFC, get those out for you. And there's our Super Bowl pick. Spoiler alert, I like the Chargers again.
Spoiler alert, I like the Bengals again.
Again.
Surely, Rodney, this can't go wrong for either of us.
Right? Yeah, that's both of us that was our kryptonite last year. Although the chart, well, no, mine was really 2 years ago with Brandon Staley as the head man and
Right.
making them my Super Bowl champion.
You were on a run for about 3 straight years of loving the Chargers, and they disappointed every year. Last year was the first year that you were like, you know what, I'm going to temper my expectations for the Chargers. It just happened to be Jim Harbaugh as the coach, and he led them to the playoffs.
Yeah, not great, but I actually have filled out. I have filled out Dallas, New York, and Philadelphia from the AFC games. So I'm hoping by the time we do get together, we were able to meet up again. I'll have those 5 games for both of us done. And like you said, then we can just do the remaining 12 for each team and get that done. I'm ready for it. I'm excited to see what we're going to do at the NFC.
Yeah. As far as the game though on Friday that we went to, did you have any thoughts? We were in the left field bleachers. We were just above the Yankee bullpen. You did heckle Devin Williams quite a bit, which I loved. Devin Williams, my sworn nemesis. Although he had a good series. He had a good series against St. Louis. You know, broken clock, right? Twice a day, whatever you want to say. But Devin was good. Devin was good that series. Luke Weaver was really good that series. But yeah, I was looking. They didn't announce the attendance on Friday night. I was looking at the app. So they put down 31,169. Do you feel like that was accurate?
I feel like that was probably close. I mean, there of course was empty seats, but not massive sections of them. I mean, it helps that the Yankees were in town. It helps that it was a Friday night. The coolest of the 3 days, probably, maybe Saturday, but Sunday was miserable. I think that was probably right. I think I probably said at the stadium. I think I said probably in the low 30s. So I think they were probably right with that one. I don't think there was any fudging of the attendance for this one.
Yeah, Sunday, I was listening to that game for a bit, and then I threw it on probably 6th, 7th inning or so. They announced 25,300. There couldn't have been more than 10,000 people in the stands from what I saw. It was just too hot. It was too hot.
Yeah. Miserable hot. And St. Louis has always been known as like just a melting pot in the summer and just so hot. And I'm sure it was down the field, middle of the day game like that. That would have been one. And I know the Yankees had to travel, but they actually had Monday off, right? No, they played yesterday. No, they had Monday off.
No, they were off yesterday.
Yeah, that would have been one where it would have made some sense for Major League Baseball to be like, yeah, okay, you guys can start it at 6, right? A little bit cooler at 6. You know, then it's getting dark because that's just hot. Like that's just stupid hot.
But then the Cardinals, I mean, because they had to play Monday and they had to travel to Miami, so then it affects the Cardinals. I'm sure that the Cardinals wouldn't want to do that. You know, and probably would defer to the home team in that situation.
Yeah, I guess I don't feel bad. I guess I don't feel bad for these baseball players in their travel. Like, yeah, that's part of it. Okay, so you left St. Louis at 10 instead of 5. Okay, I don't know. I'm not really in the camp of feeling bad for their travel. But anyways, it was a good game. I mean, it was a competitive game. We saw Yankees jump out to a lead. Cardinals had chances to tie or even win it late, and just didn't come through. But kudos to the Yankees bullpen, got the job done.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned the MLB travel, like you don't pity the travel situations for the players. Sunday night during the Little League World Series, not World Series, but the Little League game, Rob Manfred's doing a hit with the broadcasters, and they get on the topic of expansion, and it's not a surprise. They've been talking about expanding the league for a while and getting 32 teams in Major League Baseball. Can I just say, I feel like 32 feels like a lot for hockey. I feel like 32 would feel like a lot for baseball too. I'm good with 30. I understand why they want to expand. I understand the benefits of it for the league, for the owners, for markets. I get it. I'm just saying for me, it feels like enough. I digress. But expansion would lead then very likely to a realignment of sorts with the divisions to have the division like the teams more geographically aligned with each other, because you have situations right now where the Braves and the Marlins are in the same division as teams from the Northeast. So
Right.
there's a lot of travel there. You have two teams in Texas, the Rangers and the Astros, that have to go to the West Coast to play their division rivals, right, in the AL West. So this would probably be a situation where they move to 8 divisions of 4 teams and try to have it more geographically aligned. We talked about this yesterday. I think I'm more in favor of it if it doesn't totally nuke the current AL NL rivalries that we have in place right now. Like, I know that people have suggested, an East Division with the Yankees, the Mets, the Phillies, and the Red Sox, and that's a division. That's a disgrace to me. Like, I don't want any part of that. I don't know. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, no, I mean, you didn't like it initially, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about my Cardinals and what that would do, and it would look like a situation like Kansas City, Nashville, the new franchise in Nashville, and then who was the fourth
Yeah,
one?
and I saw another version of it today, because I saw a couple. Like, one of them was like the Cardinals and the Royals and the team from Nashville and like the Rangers or something like that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
there's been a different one that has a more AL NL balance, and I'll try to pull it up here.
Yeah, the other one that initially was the Rockies, and so like I don't have an issue with
Yeah.
the new Nashville team being a rival of the Cardinals. I mean, it's 300 miles, not terrible.
Yeah.
There is that gap basically from St. Louis to Nashville where there is no real team. There is a lot of Cardinal fans down there. Kansas City, of course, makes sense being the Missouri rivalry. And then, the Rockies, I guess, just because there's nobody near them, somebody's got to have them. But
Yeah. It was Jim Bowden who it actually pitched us a couple years ago. Yeah, it would be a Southwest division with the Royals, Cardinals, Astros, Rangers. So those would be the 4 teams there. The Nashville, and we're just there hasn't been any announcements, but if on the subject of major league expansion, cities, markets, it seems like Nashville is like a heavy front runner to be one of the 2 that would be getting a team. Whether the other one's in Portland, whether it's in Utah, whether it's in Charlotte, I know some people have mentioned that as well. Feels like Nashville's a pretty safe bet, though. That would be a Southeast with the Braves, the Marlins, and the Rays. Which, by the way, can I just say, the Braves, Marlins, Rays, and an expansion team, I feel like the Braves are in a really good position to win that division, like, indefinitely.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mentioned that with the Cardinals, like, you got to think Nashville would have a tough time competing right away. Rockies really have never really gotten off the ground in their franchise. It kind of did.
Have the Rockies ever won a division?
No, because they were wild card the year that made that run, right?
Because I know the Marlins, and the Marlins came into the league the exact same year that the Rockies did, 93. I know the Marlins have never won the NL East.
Yeah.
In their entire franchise.
Yeah.
They've only gotten into the playoffs as a wild card, and still won 2 World Series in that span, which is incredible, but no division titles. And I'm pretty sure the Rockies haven't won a division either. I can confirm here.
Which leaves Kansas City as the second franchise, and like Kansas City's been pretty hit or miss as well as far as their success. They obviously ran through some pretty good success there for a while, but I would say traditionally they've been quite hit or miss. They've been either really good or really, really poor. So that would be interesting. Obviously the biggest part would be losing that division with the Cubs. I'm okay with losing Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, even Milwaukee as divisional rivals. At first, I didn't know if I would like losing Houston, but I've far gotten over that. Like, that's not a big deal for me. But losing the Cubs, the Cardinals division would be the worst.
It was a good time for the NL Central, the other NL Central teams to lose Houston.
Yeah,
considering that the Astros were able to build their. I mean, think about how different the National League looks if the Astros are in it the entire time. Think about, like, does the Cubs run happen?
Yeah.
Do the Dodgers have like the success that they've had? Like, there's a lot that could happen. And then meanwhile, like the American League, like the Yankees are probably in a few World Series in the point instead of just the one last year during that whole stretch. If there's no Houston in the American League, so a lot could change. But I wanted to mention this here. So it was Stephen Nesbitt on The Athletic. He did his own version, and this is where I say I would feel much more at ease with this, because it was still, while it was like keeping things sort of geographically aligned, it was also keeping the structure and integrity of like the AL and NL divisions in place. So I'll run this down. I'll start in the National League just so you can get an idea. So his new NL North, because there's no Central Division in this, but there's an NL North that would be the Cubs, the Cardinals, the Brewers, and the Reds. So it's all the NL Central teams that minus the Reds, or excuse me, minus the Pirates. Then there's the East, which the Pirates then move there to be in a division with the Mets, the Phillies, the Nationals. So they're sort of all in that corner. Then you have that NL South, same as kind of what we talked about, where a Nashville team is there with the Braves, the Marlins, and the Rays, who would then be moving to the National League. And then out west, you have the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks, the Padres, the Giants.
I mean, that makes sense.
Makes sense. So you'd have the Rays moving to the National League. Then in the American League, you would get the Colorado Rockies. So I'll tell you this real quick. So the AL East would be the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, the Orioles.
Yeah,
so
makes sense.
Still 4 teams there. You have an AL North, the White Sox, the Tigers, the Guardians, the Twins. So same division as before, just no Royals, because the Royals would be in a new division in the South with the 2 Texas teams, the Rangers, the Astros, plus the Rockies, who would now be an American League team. And then finally, the new AL West would be the Angels, the Las Vegas A's, the Seattle Mariners, and then one more expansion team, whether that's in Portland, Salt Lake City, what have you.
That makes a lot more sense. That makes a lot more sense, and I would guess would be far less frustration over this. I mean, the question is, would the Rockies and Rays move divisions? Do they get a choice, or does Major League Baseball just tell them you're moving to the National League, you're moving? How does that even work? Like, what if the Rays say we don't want to move?
So, and it's been over a decade now, and maybe you remember this. I was in college at the time. The Astros moved to the American League because, well, like I obviously there was a clear imbalance. There was one division with 6 teams, one division with 4 teams.
Right.
It made sense for the Astros to move in that regard, but was it something that baseball told them, hey, you guys are doing this? Or did the Astros say, hey, we want to move? Like, I genuinely have no idea why that happened, when the decision happened. It just sort of happened. Like, I don't really have any sort of memory of what led to that move. So, you bring up a good point, because the Rockies, but like, here's the thing. I'm sure the Rockies would probably be okay with getting out of a division with the Dodgers and the Padres. Like I looked, their 33-year history, they've had 0 division titles. They've made the playoffs 5 times. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So they would probably benefit quite a bit from getting out of that division. Royals leaving, the White Sox and the Twins, and then being in a division with the Astros, like, that might suck a little bit. And then I'm sure the Rays, though, would be okay with, now you don't have to face the Yankees and Red Sox, and now you get the Marlins and an expansion team, and you really just got to worry about the Braves. So I think they would probably be okay with it too.
Yeah, your point about Kansas City, like I guess yes, going to a different division, but they get Colorado, which kind of is
Yeah.
geographic location there. So I looked up Houston. Basically, the AI overview is telling us that, of course, Major League
Oh, here we
Baseball
go.
wanted to balance 15. We knew that. Uh, they wanted to rival with Texas. Okay, makes sense. It also said that Astros new owners received $70 million.
That'll do it.
So that should
That'll
have been
do
our
it.
answer. That should have been our answer from the start. Why did the Astros move money?
Money. Just stock answer for anything. Money.
Why did they move? Yeah, because they were offered a lot of money. They got 70 million. Yeah. And Ron's got a question here as a Cardinal fan. I would gladly send Milwaukee back to the AL Central, and they can keep the Astros too. Yeah, Milwaukee's been a pain in the butt here the last couple of years. That's a good one from Ron. But yeah, that's what the AI overview tells us. I'm sure AI overview knows exactly what's going on.
All right. So, I mean, it's funny. We're all just assuming that it's going to be 4 divisions, or 8 divisions of 4 teams.
Yeah.
Divisions used to just be 2 in a league, and 7 or 8 teams in each of them. So you could also have 4 divisions of 8 teams each. And it might be easier playoff wise to do that. I don't know. Well, and they also mentioned that the realignments and the expansion would offer new playoff opportunities. And I'm trying to figure out what that's supposed to be like, how the playoff would work. But I honestly wouldn't hate the idea of just 2 divisions, like a West and an East in the American League and National League.
Yeah,
each of 8 teams.
My first thought on this is, if they are already thinking about new playoff options, if we have 32 teams, I mean, my first thought was 2 brackets of 8 for the playoffs.
That's that's 16 of the 32 teams that make the playoffs.
I mean, it's the National Hockey League.
Hell no. But I'm sorry. Hell no. No.
But
I mean, the problem is baseball is already having a hard enough time as it is to try to tell fans, or convince fans and a lot of casual fans that our regular season matters. And if you're going to put half the damn league in there, NBA regular season suffers because everyone knows, okay, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really start until the playoffs. And hockey's great, but also the difference between regular season hockey, postseason hockey is night and day. I don't want baseball to fall into that same trap. I like that baseball. It's so hard to make the postseason. You play all those games, and the reward at the end of grueling 6 months of regular season is, hey, you're one of 6 teams in your league. It used to be 4 teams in your league to make the playoffs. I like that.
All I'm saying is they're not going to lower the amount of playoff teams. We already have 12. They're not going to be lowering it.
I know. I just how much more can you increase? So let's say they don't increase. Let's say they just keep it at 6 in each league, right? So would you take the 4 division? Let's assume that it's each league has 4 divisions, right? You take all the division champs and then just the 2 wildcard teams?
Yeah, I mean, it makes the most sense. Makes the most sense. Yeah, I mean, I think you about have to. Ron says people hated when they went to 3 divisions in each league, but quickly got over it. DH and the NL was met with resistance, but guess what? We got over it. Yeah, no, and I say a lot of the same things here, Ron. I didn't like Houston leaving NL Central. I got over that quick. I didn't necessarily.
Yeah, when they started winning 100 games every year.
I didn't necessarily like the speed up rules, but I don't have a problem with it. Which, by the way, our Cardinal Yankee game still went 3+ hours, and we got home at 1:20 in the morning on Friday night. So,
3 hours. 3 hours. It was a much longer game than the 4-3 score would suggest, because there were a lot of innings where so and so is men at the corners here, first and third, and it was just one of those lots of base runners, but the bullpens all did a really nice job late in the game. But yeah, I think I saw on the app it was 3 hours flat.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's a long one for Major League Baseball this time. I mean, games have been coming in at 2:30 here recently. So, but anyways, no, I'm with you, Ron. I think change. People don't like to change right away, but I don't think it'll take long to get over it once we figure out what the new divisions and what the playoffs. I'm with you, Tim. 16 teams is too many, but I wouldn't be surprised you're going to see one big bracket of 8. You don't really give the top team much of an advantage that way because you're playing right away. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think that's what you might be looking at.
Yeah, it's frustrating when they push the limits of and Ron brings up a good point. Like they've implemented these changes. A lot of people have taken to them, and it's worked. But eventually, it's going to be like, all right, man. Like what we have works.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. You don't need to keep reinventing the wheel. And I feel like Manfred kind of falls into that with all of the changes where like the sport's in a good spot. It is. And he gets credit for that. Like the sport's in a good spot. Things are working for the most part. I mean, ask me in a couple of years when there's no season. But
yeah, right.
But like generally speaking, most of the stuff that he's done has worked. People have adapted to it. They're fine with it. You can just leave it. It's okay. Just be happy with what you got.
Yeah, I mean we're seeing that.
I'm old man yelling at cloud. I acknowledge that, but sometimes enough is enough. Sometimes it's like, hey, finally we got it. We figured this out. We're good. And then
but we're seeing those changes in every league. There's not a single league necessarily. Maybe the National Hockey League, they've stayed pretty consistent in what they do. But no, like NBA's got the NBA Cup.
Okay. Well, no. So like the NBA added the play-in tournament, which now that I've seen it for a few years, I've decided it's stupid and irrelevant. I don't need to see 2 37-win teams fight for the right to get their ass handed to them by the 1 seed. I'm over it. I don't need to see it. And generally speaking, these playing teams don't have a very long shelf life when they do make the playoffs. I don't need to see that. Hockey's fine-ish. My problem with the hockey playoffs is that you have situations where you get the same first-round matchups year after year. Yeah. So it's just like it's okay, the Panthers are playing the Lightning again. The Bruins are playing the Maple Leafs again. Like it's the same thing, and that's just how it's built because you have 2 guaranteed matchups in each conference where it's division rivals facing each other, and oftentimes it's the same damn teams every time. So like that I could do without. Yeah, I'm doing just 8 teams 1 through 8, just best records. That's it. I don't need anything else. I don't
from both. So just 8 teams among the 32. So it doesn't matter if the National League or American League. Your top 8.
No. I'm saying like for hockey. Okay, I'm saying 8 teams in each conference. Forget about divisions, like what the NBA used to do before the play-in tournament, where it's just 1 through 8. Boom, done.
Yeah, done. No, I like that. I like that. But I mean, back to the all these leagues are always changing. They're always changing. You can't keep track of what's going on.
Except, Rodney, you know what league changes very, very infrequently? The NFL. And the only big change they made was adding that extra wild card team. Right? Because it used to be 6 in each conference.
Yeah.
They did. But that was it. In how many years? It's not like every couple of years they're adding we're going to have this playing game to get into the wild card.
Yeah, but you can add the NFL the 18th week changing.
Yeah.
They're constantly changing their damn rules. I mean, it's hard to keep track of what rules are in play and what ones aren't. Like, are we back to the how are we doing replay this year? What's a catch and what's not a catch?
I still don't know how the new kickoff rule works. Like what they changed from last year. Last year figured it out. It's pretty self-explanatory. This year, I'm not quite sure. Like the landing zones and then what happens if it's outside the land. Like I haven't quite got my finger on that. And that's probably just because I've only watched so much preseason football. But yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point, Rodney. Yeah. I was more just talking about like from a playoff perspective.
Yeah. No,
not necessarily the rules within the game, just like playoff perspective of who gets in and like I feel like the NFL would be much worse off if instead of having only 6 or 7 teams, the conference, what happens if it was 16 teams and then they had 8 of them? Suddenly, it's like half of each conference is in the postseason. I'm like, well, then that makes the regular season games feel less important. And the NFL is great because it's once a week. Every game feels important.
Right. Well, we know college football is changing. They always change, and I feel like college basketball is on the verge. They continue to want to add teams to the tournament. Now they're not going to right away, but that's coming inevitably. It'll be an expanded NCAA tournament. So just keep it like it is, man. Too old man here. We want to remember how the playoffs are supposed to run. Like I feel like, and I think you corrected me a while back on this, but like the Major League Baseball playoffs and like what the format of like who's home for the first 2, and then is it 3-2 or is it 2-2-1-1-1? Like I feel like that changed, and maybe it didn't, but
I still don't know. I still don't know.
Track of when it is. Yeah. Right.
No.
Anyways, all right. Well, should we talk some football?
Yeah. We got way off track. I'm glad that you were able to indulge me in talking about that. It's been weighing on me heavily. Basically, the too long didn't listen version is stop changing so many damn things about sports and just leave things as is for once. Right. For once. Yeah. Like just as we're starting to get used to things. Anyway. NFL preseason thoughts. The year of our Lord 2025, Joe Flacco's officially starting quarterback still. Named quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, which regardless of what they were talking about on First Take or whatever, there's never going to be Shedeur Sanders.
No,
he was drafted in the 5th round. He's their 4th string quarterback. There was no competition. It was going to be Joe Flacco. The other starting quarterback news announced today, Rodney. Is he your boy? He's not really your boy.
Not really my boy.
No. Not really your boy. Not really my boy either. Daniel Jones, who I was convinced last year when he was cut, I didn't think that he would be a starting quarterback again unless the guy in front of him was injured and he had to step. Like I thought his days as a starting quarterback were over. Tim cursed that. Because Daniel Jones is the week 1 starter for the Indianapolis Colts. And I don't know if you saw the quotes today from the GM, but they didn't say, we're going to give Jones the first opportunity and see. He's like, he's the starter. We want to give him a long leash on this. Like, we would like him to start the entire season. So they're done with Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
They're done, right? That's over.
I think so. Yeah, I would think it's over. And I mean, and I was thinking about this, like sometimes you're going to, a change of scenery could obviously it can't get much worse for Daniel Jones. I mean, his final seasons in New York were not very good at all. But so let me give you a little spoiler alert. We kind of knew Friday when we did our AFC that Jones may have this opportunity. I took the Colts with 7 wins. You took the Colts with 4 wins. You got the Colts going 4-13. Now that it's official that Daniel Jones is the starter, are you comfortable with 4-13?
More comfortable. I here's the thing. I don't think they're going to get Daniel Jones starting for 17 games. He's had injury problems before. It's not very good. They may say, we're going to give him a long leash, but if the team starts 0-4, and he's bad, and they have Richardson sitting there waiting, I think they'll change their tune because it's not like they have a new coach either who they can afford to be patient with. Like Shane Steichen could very much be on the hot seat. Yes. I would assume if the Colts stink. And it's so funny with the Colts. Like I've seen so many people today, the discourse about them. Oh, well, they have a top 10 offensive line in football, and Jonathan Taylor is one of the great weapons, and they have all these deep guys. Like Daniel Jones had Saquon Barkley for the majority of his career. He had good wide receivers for the majority of his career. He had Brian Dable as his head coach, one of the better offensive play callers in the NFL. He still stunk. It was bad. And we're acting like the Colts are this great situation for him. The Colts had one of the most embarrassing performances I've ever seen on a football field against the Giants last year. In a game that they had to win to stay in playoff contention, they got their ass handed to them. That's not a good team. The Colts are not a good team. They're not good. And the fact that people are like, oh, well, Jones now in a good situation. I don't see how the Colts situation is sure, it's maybe better than the Giants, but let's not act like he's going to Sean McVay and the Rams to have his career turned around. It's not. It's not. And if it was such a good situation, Anthony Richardson as the 4th overall pick wouldn't be an absolute bust who lost his job to Daniel Jones in the first place.
Right. I was going to mention your 4 wins, and I'll let you back. I'll let you change this one only. If you like to change the Colts, you can change. You have them beating Vegas at home.
I will leave it as is. I will leave what I'm saying as is.
You have them beating Tennessee at home. You have them beating Houston at home. And you have them beating Jacksonville at home. You mentioned this today in our text. Like we both loved the home teams. That we'll have to really discuss this here in a bit and when we get this done.
Yeah. When I was going through just entering everything in, I was like, oh God. Like a team will have a 17 game schedule, and of the 17 weeks, like the home team will win like 15 of them. I'm like, oh boy, that's not good.
Not gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen. Yeah, okay, but like just because I have the Colts beating the Texans in Indianapolis one week, that doesn't necessarily mean I think the Colts are better than the Texans. It means I've watched a lot of AFC South football over the last few years, and everyone who's watched the AFC South knows that division is totally batshit insane, and anything can happen. And there's gonna be a couple games that the Colts win with nonsense and that they lose with nonsense. It's the same thing in a lot of ways with the NFC South too. Like you think that we're gonna get normal Bucks Falcons games this year? You're crazy if you think that we're gonna get boring games between those two.
Yeah, no, that was our big, and we'll discuss this in 2 weeks when we do the NFC. But yeah, our biggest flaw was we just love those home teams. I'm pretty sure we have a whole bunch of teams going undefeated at home this year, which again is not going to happen. So, but yeah, those 2 pieces of news. And the funny thing about Joe Flacco is like we spent all this, not necessarily but people spent all this time talking the quarterback situation in Cleveland. Like Shedeur Sanders is a 4th string quarterback. He's 4th on their depth chart going into the season. Like that's a lot of time to be talking about a 4th string quarterback. So it'll be interesting to see how that moves on.
Yeah. All right. Real quick, we've blown through our time here on the show. I wanted to mention this real quick. I know we're like not really in like NBA mode yet, but last week the NBA officially released the full schedule. We're not going to go through and really look at the NBA schedule, but something that I was interested in is the new sort of structure of the primetime games. So before, it used to be pretty simple. You would have Tuesday, Thursday, TNT. You'd have Wednesday, Friday, ESPN. And then after football season, you get like the Sunday ABC games, right? You got used to that over the years. Have you looked at the new national TV days for next season to see how it's going to break down with the new agreements with NBC and with Prime?
Well, you mentioned a little bit about it. It's basically daily, right? Like you're going to get a primetime
Yes.
NBA game every day. But
But
but like we've seen this with the NFL. Like you're literally going to have like 9 different channels. I know we've seen the graphics all the time about if you want every NFL game, you got to have this, 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 and this, and pay. I think the last I knew it was like $800 or something for a whole season. It's something stupid, but I mean, NBA is right there. What is it? It's a half dozen channels that you're going to need to see the NBA prime times.
all right, so, and I want every NBA fan to keep track. Write this down somewhere because you're going to need it. So let's start on Monday. So Monday, we're going to have a Peacock game. Do you have Peacock?
I do not believe I do. No. So every Monday there's a primetime NBA game.
Monday night. Yes, every night there is a primetime game. Now, the channel, and it's going to be a mix of TV and streaming. It's going to be somewhere, but you got to know where it is. But Monday, Peacock. Monday night, Peacock. Remember that. Tuesday, we're going to get a game on NBC as well as Peacock. So I'm sure they'll just simulcast it, but so let's just call it NBC, right? Just for the sake of the argument. So Monday's just Peacock, Tuesday's NBC.
The same game is on both
Wednesday,
NBC and Peacock.
I would assume so.
Okay.
Now, I will preface it by saying that I'm not 100% sure because I did see that they're also going to start doing a sort of coast to coast broadcast, which includes a game. And you know what? Now that you mentioned it, Rodney, I think maybe this NBC Peacock thing might be a doubleheader because the second game is going to start at like 11 Eastern.
I did see that. That's dumb.
So, and that might be Peacock. I don't know, but like NBC / Peacock Tuesday.
Okay.
All right. We're 2 days in. We got Peacock and NBC. Wednesday, familiar, ESPN. Wednesday, ESPN game. Boom. Lock it in. Done. Thursday, after, and I'm assuming this is after football season is done. Thursday, you're going to have Prime Video. So Thursday, we have NFL on Prime. Just make sure that you tune back in on Thursdays for Prime for NBA. So this will be after football's done. Friday, you have 2 options. You got a game on Prime, and you got a game on ESPN again. So ESPN's still staying in that Friday slot, but you also got a game on Prime. Saturday, another game on Prime Video, and ABC has now joined the fold. So you got Prime Video and ABC on Saturday. And then, Rodney, let's wrap things up Sunday after football season. You got ABC, you got NBC, and Peacock. So you got all that?
Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah. Basically, I have everything but Peacock. I think I can watch the rest of those. I can watch Amazon Prime, of course, NBC, ABC, ESPN. So I can get 80% of the primetime games.
So Peacock, I'm surprised you don't, because I think that they've had they've had NFL games before. They had NFL games last year.
Yeah, and they had some golf there as well. I think I had it, and then I got it for one of the sporting events, and then I just let it go. I mean, I said we're not going to renew or whatever, and I might get it again, right? Like, they'll probably offer a deal. Here's what's going to happen. DraftKings or FanDuel will probably offer a deal for it, right? They're probably going to say, bet $5 and get Peacock for a month. It's not the worst thing that could happen, but yeah, that's an interesting primetime slate for the NBA, but leave it to the professional sports to use all of the services.
All the services. And I did see today, and this hasn't been confirmed yet officially, but some people in the know, because baseball has their own rights deals that they're trying to secure. ESPN bowed out. The murmurings, if you will, is that Apple is going to be out. So no more Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV. And a lot of people actually like the Apple TV broadcast, like the quality of it. Okay. NBC Peacock, so you might need it again, Rodney. This Peacock would be in for Friday and Sunday and wild card games. So welcome back baseball on NBC. Also, These are a couple big ones here. And again, this isn't official, but these are the murmurs. MLB TV, which I have, a lot of people have. I get it free through T-Mobile, would be sold to ESPN. So your ESPN Plus would then have MLB TV. And finally, you ready for this? The Home Run Derby would be moving to Netflix.
Why?
You got all that? You got that?
Netflix. Okay.
You got that?
Little Netflix and chill with the Home Run Derby. All right. No, yeah. I don't necessarily have all that. No, I don't.
You got Netflix though, right?
I would assume.
You have Netflix?
I would assume we do. By the way, your Yankees have 10 runs in the 4th inning.
I saw Giancarlo Stanton hit a 3-run shot, his second home run of the game, and my favorite Yankee, Ben Rice, added a solo shot. So
and Jazz, my least favorite Yankee. No. Anyways, we won't go there. But anyways, it's 10-2 Yankees in the bottom of the 4th. Dodgers also have 10 runs, so the two champions are trying to fend it out here to see what happens. Both got 10 runs in the game.
I'm looking at some of the other scores. The Cubs have swept the doubleheader against the Milwaukee Brewers. It is officially Jed's league, so the Cubs gained 2 games today. So what are they now? 7 back? 7 back in the division? Is that right?
7 back, yeah. 7 back with about 35 to go.
Yeah, 7 back. Yeah, so I don't know. Could happen. Yeah, your Cardinals won 7-4. The Blue Jays beat the Pirates 7-3, but the Orioles were able to beat the Red Sox 4-3 in 11 innings. The Mariners also lost. So the Yankees, assuming they hold on, are going to be a full game ahead of Boston. They're going to be a full game ahead of Seattle. So they'll have sole control of that top wild card spot after tonight. So that's good. Good turn of events for the Bombers.
Just FYI, the Kansas City Royals are 2.5 out of a wild card spot.
You know what, Rodney? I saw that earlier today, and I thought of you, and I was like, here come those Royals. They're not dead yet. And it's funny because you sort of planted your flag in the Royals early on. I planted my flag in the Reds early on. And here they are, these teams that have kind of been just like back and forth a little bit, but it's getting into late August and they are thoroughly in the hunt. So That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. And I think it would be really, really fun if the Royals were able to make a charge and grab one of those final spots.
Yeah, I mean, the Royals won tonight. They've won 5 straight. They're pretty much taking care of Texas, sending Texas to not making the playoffs. 62 and 65 Rangers are about cooked. They got 2 more games with the Rangers. And then this weekend, Kansas City with a big 3-game series at the Detroit Tigers. Now, they're 9 games back, so probably not going to catch the division. But, getting 2 of 3 in Detroit would be huge for Kansas City. So go Royals, the future divisional rival of the St. Louis Cardinals. Go Royals.
Go Royals. I'm bad at multitasking. I wanted to try to put together what 4 8-team divisions would look like. And I was unable to do that successfully. So I will write them down. I will text it to you after the show. It will be of no help to anyone who's listening. But maybe I'll reveal them on Friday. We'll see. All right. Shall we wrap it up and get to our Mount Rushmore of 87s?
Yeah, and I think this one right off the start, we can go with two names that I think are locked and loaded right in there.
3. You know what? Apologies. 3 names. 3 names.
All right, so I'll give you Travis Kelce. I'll give you Rob Gronkowski, which you threw Gronk out before. I would have gotten to him, but I definitely said Kelce. You said Gronk, and then number 3 is
Sid the damn kid, Sidney Crosby.
Oh. Yeah. That's a lock. So, I mean, we have 3. Yeah, so it's going to be hard to break this one if your name is not Kelce, Gronkowski, or Crosby. But this fourth spot, here we go.
Yeah, so locks Locks. There are a few really good NFL candidates. I'll give you a couple names here before I reveal who I think should be the fourth and final pick. You have Joe Horn, one of the best touchdown celebrations of all time with the cell phone. You have Jordy Nelson. You have Muhsin Muhammad. You have Ed McCaffrey, Christian McCaffrey's father. All very good players. But the number one, and this is the number one player, according to Pro Football Reference, to ever wear the number 87. He is not a Hall of Famer, but I think he very well should be. He spent his career with the Indianapolis Colts. Number 87, Reggie Wayne.
Yeah. Another good choice. I'm just going to tell you now, no baseball, no NBA.
No.
So, I mean, if there's anything else in the National Hockey League, but looking through that Pierre Turgeon, he's not Reggie Wayne. Donald Brashear. Yeah, no, I think this is a 3 football. And actually, I'm surprised it's not 4 football.
Yeah. It very easily could have been. Dwight Clark was also 87. Like some great players, but Sidney Crosby is an all-timer. Reggie Wayne, Travis Kelce, Rob Gronkowski, Sidney Crosby, a damn good 87. And you know what? Not only is it good, I feel like it is in my mind, it is a definitive top 4 where it's like no questions. Yeah. Those are the 4 guys. And like they're honorable mentions, but I don't think anyone else is even close to sniffing that mountain over any of those guys. No,
we just got to make sure they can keep their moral compass okay, so we don't have to remove any of the 4. But you know, I do like this one. It's a good one, and we didn't have to take very long. There's some nights we're spending a long damn time doing our Mount Rushmores because we can't figure out what 4 belong. This one, boom, done. Got us under the hour by finishing the Mount Rushmore quick here. Good work.
Yeah. Very efficient 87s. Thank you for being good and wearing 87. Made our job a lot easier.
That's right.
All right. Let's get out of here. A reminder on a couple things. You can follow us at Stupid Sports Show on Twitter. Chances are that's how you are watching us tonight. Thank you for doing so. And give us a follow while you're there. At Stupid Sports Show, no W at the end. You can listen to all of our 87 episodes of the Stupidest Sports Show on Earth, wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, iHeart. And finally, don't listen. You're listening to me now, but read Rodney's Substack, the Stupid Sports Show on Substack, where every single day, our very own Rodney Newpel is putting out picks, daily picks, and winners. Like, he's up many units on the year. If you have been tailing him since January 1st, you're inexplicably wealthy. So congratulations. And he's just giving it for free. Like a lot of sharps, and you know this, Rodney, like a lot of sharps will be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to sell you my picks $500 for 2 weeks of my picks. You're just emailing picks and just winning. So.
Yeah, a little bit of a heater. 5-0 yesterday, up 8 units for the month of August after a little bit of a slow start. 36.25 units since January 1st. Would love to get that up into 40s. Has not reached 40 yet this year. Football right around the corner, which means the number of picks are going to go up. Like, I am at 141 picks heading into the day for the month of August. September is going to be multiple hundreds with college and NFL football. So get in on that now. Get all your NFL, all your college football picks, and hopefully we can stay hot. We can stay hot and make you some money. So yeah, sign up on Substack, Stupid Sports Show. Thanks for the shout out there.
Beautiful. All right. Well, that about does it for tonight. For Rodney, I'm Tim, the password Van Stratton. There is a player. Truthfully, normally I know like the players that I kind of reference with the nicknames. I know that there is a major league player nicknamed the password, but I couldn't tell you what his name actually was. I just know that it's a very complicated name with a bunch of random letters in it, hence why his nickname is the password. It's a good nickname. I don't remember who, though.
Let's get that NFC done because the fans, the listeners are ready for our NFL picks to be disclosed. I guess if we got them, if we got them done before next Friday's show, maybe we could do the NFL discussion. Although next Friday is going to be a lot of college football talk. But anyways, let's get that done. Let's get that done. We got work to do. So here we go. Let's get it done. And shout out to our buddy Skeeter. Sent us the code for buy one get one free tenders at Wingstop. That was random. Why did he send that? Just because?
It's a good guy. Nice guy. Good Christian. That's why he's just a
knew we wanted tenders, but that's not where we're going for week 1. Anyways, I'm way off topic, and we are how many days away? We are from B-Dubs, like 18,
from B-Dubs.
19?
Well, 16 to opening nights.
19.
So what? 19?
Yeah, 19 till B-Dubs. We'll get there. Yeah. So hopefully maybe we'll see some fans out there. Maybe they can come join us.
If I see those Washington fans that are there, things are going to get ugly. Things are going to get nasty. I'm going to say some things that I might regret in the future, but that's okay. It's football.
And I got to ask one more question. Did you ever feel uncomfortable or not safe in St. Louis with people knowing that you were in row 14?
No, you know what? I felt very safe. No one decided to drive down there to assault us, which was good.
Yeah.
That would have been you really have to have some dedicated enemies for someone to drive 2.5 hours to St. Louis, buy a ticket to get into the stadium, to track us down to row 14, which we didn't know what section we were in, so they would have to find us.
Yeah.
And then beat our asses. Yeah, that would take some dedication. I couldn't even be upset. I'd be like, man, I must have done something, and I my bad, man.
In fact, you ran into some fairly nice Cardinal fans while we were out in the bleachers. It was very nice, very pleasant. Very nice. Even my exchange with the Yankees fan, although he did not like my razzing of Devin Williams, he obviously was on the other side of the Devin Williams train. We fist bumped after the game, and we've moved on. So more on that Friday. I had a 7-year-old taunting me. So
yeah, Rodney made enemies for life with I don't think he was 7, maybe 10 years old, but yeah, he did not like the fact that you were just yelling at Devin Williams. The problem is he's too young. Yeah. He's too young to have that hate in his heart yet, because I'm sure his dad was quietly thinking, like, no, let him heckle. He needs to hear it.
Yeah. Anyways, all right, let's get out of here. Back on Friday morning.
Back on Friday. Yes, sir. All right, for Rodney Newple, this is Tim the Password Van Stratton signing off for another edition of the stupidest sports show on earth. See you guys.
See ya.
Step right up, dummies, and listen to the stupidest sports show on earth with Rodney Newple and Tim Van Stratton. Yeah.